We all saw that photo of you meeting young Liam. Can you tell us about how he's doing and what that experience was like today?
It's almost indescribable, which I don't think that anyone ever imagines that I'm at a loss for words. We attempted to kind of interact with him. Like I was like trying to touch him, he was so lethargic. He was never alert the entire time that we were there. I was very, very concerned about his health. His father indicated that he was not eating, that they had determined that he was depressed. They being those that are there at the facility, they do have some psychiatrists on hand, and that he just kept asking about his mom and when they were going to see his mom and when he was going to go to school. But the entire time that we were there, and we visited specifically with Liam for probably about 30 minutes talking to his dad, and he never moved. He was motionless.
He was awake but motionless?
I don't know that he was awake. Like if you look at those photos, like we could see just a slim portion of the white of his eyes. He never opened his eyes. Like that's exactly how he was the entire time. And he wasn't asleep. Like I don't think anyone could sleep through that. I mean, like his dad adjusted him a couple of times, but something was not right. That part I can tell you. And so one of my staffers that was with me is a fluent Spanish speaker.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you need to ask about like the doctor, like, has he seen them? Like, when's the last time? Because I was looking at that baby, and I don't have kids, but like I would have imagined that he needed to see, like have professional help. But his dad was like, he's just not been eating.
How is his father been reacting to that? Because that is unimaginable for a father to be watching that, feeling some sense of helplessness.
Yeah, he's been trying to do everything that he can to take care of Liam and not freak out about his wife, who was currently 4 months pregnant. She ended up being hospitalized soon after all of this took place due to the stress. But even the outfit that Liam is wearing, they only give them one outfit. So his dad washes his clothes every single night when he goes to sleep and then hangs them up near like a vent to dry.
I have heard people describe at one point that somehow this facility is the best you can do. It is not as bad as people are describing it. Can you describe? You've been a criminal defense attorney. You have obviously visited many a client and a defendant who is a criminal defendant inside of a detention facility. Can you describe what this was like, even compared to what you have seen in the past?
To me, this was worse. And I've been to state, federal, I've been on all levels. I will tell you that the only thing that is better here is that they can walk out of their living quarters and walk around. Obviously, inmates, they aren't allowed to do that part. I will say that this was worse because of the complaints that we got about the water. They consistently talked about the water and how awful it was, and they said that the water makes them sick. They told us before that, like, literally when people kept getting sick with certain water, they found that there was mold that had been like in this container, and then they basically just put like some Clorox or some bleach or something in it, and then we're like, okay, here you go. And so we actually we put some water in a water bottle. You're the first person to learn this, so that we could actually test it ourselves, because we asked about testing of the water, all that kind of stuff. So we actually are going to test some water that came out of that facility. When we were meeting with another group of people, they brought bottles of water, and they were like, they only brought the bottles of water because y'all are here.
Well, Congresswoman, I mean, what you describe is certainly subpar for even the standard detention facility across this country for criminal inmates waiting trial. But you have Liam, who is symbolic of so many other children who are also there. But we know a judge just ruled on Monday that Liam and his father, they cannot be deported as they are fighting any removal effort by the government. So where does the effort stand to release young Liam even from federal custody in that detention facility?
Well, I've got to tell you that as soon as we walked in and sat down, Representative Castro immediately was like, I'm not going to BS you. Y'all need to let him go. And that was before we saw Liam in person. That was before we saw anyone else. And, they basically kind of were like their hands were tied. We did have an opportunity to speak with some of the attorneys that represent the government in these detention cases. And so I dug in and do what I do as an attorney to ask questions. I have some thoughts about things that we potentially can do right now as Senate Dems are going through their negotiations, because I think anything that has to do with, the DOJ is going to have the final say so, or ICE, or, this is about oversight. I think that that's all out of the window. We know that these people will ignore the law. I think that we need to empower those immigration attorneys and judges, because that's the only branch that's not completely broken at this point.
Wow.
So I'm hopeful that we can do, and Laura, you did this before, that we haven't enshrined about speedy trial. So I'm really trying to think through some fixes so that you can't detain these people inevitably. I mean, they gave us these beautiful pamphlets, more beautiful than anything that we have in our office. And they gave us a layout and they said the average person is there for 28 days.
Wow.
We did not meet anyone who had actually been detained for less than 2 months.
Now that is stunning. I'm waiting to see those water quality results as well. And of course, that picture of young Liam speaks volumes, and he is symbolic of so many other people who are there. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thank you for going and bearing witness and informing the public of what you saw.
Thank you.